Welcome to another episode of Russian Hate Speech, where we break down the Kremlin's latest lies against the West. On July 20, 2025, during the program Вести недели, host Yevgeny Popov delivered a chilling message directed at European nations aligned with Ukraine. Within range of our missiles are dozens of European nuclear power plants and over 100 chemical plants. It sounds frightening, but why not remind Donahue of this in light of aggressive outburst? After all, even the seemingly unreachable Oreshnik could be used in nuclear version, and it's clear that if there is any attempt on Kaliningrad, Russia will respond with all its nuclear capability. Popov's statement is an example of nuclear intimidation, threatening catastrophic consequences for Europe and reinforcing the narrative that Russia will respond to perceived threats with overwhelming force. On the same broadcast, military expert and air defense historian Yuri Knutov took these nuclear threats even further. If you take this statement literally, it's an actual reason for Russia to have the right to launch a retaliatory strike on NATO headquarters in Brussels. There are no difference. You can hit Kaliningrad, we can hit Brussels headquarters. This rhetoric promotes the idea that any attack against Russian territory justifies chilling retaliation against the heart of NATO, fostering paranoia and an atmosphere of brinkmanship. That day, on Sunday evening with Vladimir Solovyov, RT editor-in-chief Margarita Simonyan reframed the Ukrainian war as a war against the West. One day we will wake up at the night, just like we did in February 2022, and hear that friends, it's time to admit we are at war, not with Ukraine. We defeated Ukraine long time ago, back in March 2022. We are at war with you, all of you, or rather, you are at war with us. We didn't attack you, we didn't touch you, we only defended our people in Donbass, that's all. But since you are waging war against us, and we have been patient for so long, we can't endure it any longer. So now we declare that we are at war with you and in fact are starting to fight you in response to your war against us for several years already. Simonyan's words seek to recast the conflict as a global confrontation, justifying escalation in the eyes of the Russian public. During the same program, military analyst Yevgeny Bujinsky made a thinly veiled threat against Germany. As soon as they start supplying Ukraine, especially Germany, with long-range weapons, we should use the Oreshnik to destroy them. Well, I would begin by sinking a German ship in the Baltic Sea, simply as a signal. Such belligerent suggestions of direct attacks on NATO members' assets reinforce the Kremlin's readiness to escalate beyond Ukraine. On July 22, 2025, Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov drew historical parallels intended to delegitimize Germany's government and stroke fear of resurgent Nazism.
They say the son is not responsible for the father, nor the grandson for the grandfather. That's true, if the son and grandfather recognize the crime of the Third Reich. But when descendants of those Germans, now in positions of leadership in modern Germany, regardless of their origins, not only push but proudly present claims to everyone in the spirit of the emergent Fourth Reich, it's clear that such reveal of Nazism must not be allowed.
By tying modern Germany to Nazi heritage, Lavrov perpetuates anti-Germany sentiment and frames Western actions as a resurgence of fascism. On July 23, 2025, on the Belarusian YouTube channel STV, during Azaronek Direct, political scientist Sergey Karnaunkov, who also hosts the show on Solovyov Live, resorted to overt threats of violence.
The only language they will understand from our side is a blow with a mace to the head, and no other language at all.
This kind of dehumanizing rhetoric normalizes violence as the only means of communication between Russia and its perceived enemies. Additionally, in Western Delhi, the narrative that the Anglo-Saxon propaganda is erasing the memory of the decisive role of the USSR in defeating Nazism during World War II was propagandized by politologist Emmanuel Leroux.
In 1945, the majority of French people knew that it was Russia, the Soviet Union, that actually defeated fascism. Today, in 2025, less than 30% of French realize this, and this is the result of Anglo-Saxon propaganda.
This argument seeks to reframe European memory and dismiss Western narratives about World War II, positioning Russia as a sole victor and victim of propaganda. The Kremlin's hostility spread even toward Armenia and Azerbaijan. On Solovyo Live, Margarita Simonyan declared,
"As for Armenian statehood, the people living in Armenia will have to bid farewell to it."
Meanwhile, on Crimea 24, political blogger Yuri Podolaka threatened Azerbaijan.
What else can Azerbaijan do to us? Nothing. It's already done everything anti-Russian it can. It can't harm our economy, but we could hurt them so badly that Azerbaijan could fall into poverty.
Both statements seek to intimidate Russia's neighbors and imply the Kremlin can decide their fate through force or economic leverage. Economic claims further the narrative of European disintegration. On July 22nd, on 60 Minutes special edition, Bundestag MP from the Alternative from Germany AfD party Yevgeny Schmidt claimed,
Europe is more divided than ever. The only thing that links Europe is financial handouts from Germany, which is soon won't be able to provide. Most countries are just waiting for their handouts from the EU. That's all the Eastern and some Southern European countries do. When Germany declares itself insolvent, the whole European project can be closed with a clear conscience.
These attempts to undermine European unity and confidence in the EU future. On July 23rd, on Channel 1's show Time Will Tell, the British state was maligned as failed hostile country.
Military, financially, demographically, Britain is declining country. It's on life support, really. They have serious big problems.
The aim here is to discredit the UK project weakness and suggest that only Russia is resilient to crisis. The same day, in a segment about Poland, Nikita Daniluk, deputy director of the Institute of Strategic Studies and Forecasts at Rudin, Russian public chamber member, spread a narrative of Poland as a harmful Russophobic state.
Poland from top to bottom, and it is important to understand, at political class level is maximally Russophobic. In Poland, they pay for it to be truly the next battering ram against Russia. Also, it really should be the Baltics, but everyone understands that in terms of potential, they are nothing. So Poland in the next potential theater of military operations, where they are at the highest level, they must be what? Hatred. Ukraine was prepared for this conflict first and foremost by pumping it with the hatred towards Russian history, language, Orthodox faith, and the same awaits Poland.
This rhetoric incites hatred against European neighbors, framing Poland as the next battering ram for the conflict with Russia. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for the next episode of Russian Hate Speech as we continue exposing the Kremlin's war on reality.